Hello, my name is Colleen Dudas. I'm a 7th grade teacher at Johnson Middle School in Westminster, California. Over the last 30 years, these students have impacted my life in more ways than I can explain. Today, I am very excited to present my findings based on the research I have conducted over a 3-week period. Hi, I did my action research project, Grading Policy and Student Behavior Growth Mindset. It was in partial fulfillment for a Master's of Arts degree in Education at San Diego Christian College, October 2019. My research questions, will students become more motivated or on task if they knew that 50% of their grade was based on proper classroom behavior and growth mindset observations and post-experiment surveys of attitudes? Will class climate and attitude improve based on observational rubrics, checklists, and student surveys? And will students who are graded on behavior achieve a higher level of understanding than like students who are not being graded on observed behavior based on standardized scores, study sync, essays, presentations, discussions, and collaborative projects? Behavior and attitude very much affect a student's ability to learn, and disruptive behavior detracts from the learning. Students from poverty suffer a plethora of setbacks from birth. They have malnutrition, they have lack of parental involvement, they have risky neighborhoods, they have just friend struggles. And so they come to school already with a setback, and grading seems to increase the problem for the bottom 30% of the students. Students need to believe that success is possible, but students who don't have this give up, they turn to isolation or disruptive behavior. And by middle school, many of our students have already given up. I thought if I taught growth mindset strategies and I graded on the use of these growth mindset strategies and their class behavior, would this build a better class climate and culture? And would overall academic achievement be higher? This study was conducted in the suburb of Los Angeles, Westminster School District, Johnson Middle School. We're a Title I school in Westminster, and there's about 667 students. I teach Common Core standards for the 7th grade language arts, and about 47 students were involved in the study. I took 2 similar low achieving classes, and one was giving grades for their behavior and the other was not. I took a pre and post assessment of attitude, surveyed reflective journals, and I observed class behavior and also academic tests. So before the study, I conducted a lot of literature reviews. First of all, there's positive effects of minimum grading. There were some studies done, and they gave the kids 50% already, and they did well. The lower achieving students did much better. Standardized grading, though, may have negative consequences for low achieving students. Like I said before, they give up, and they serve to demotivate even regular kids because learning doesn't become the goal anymore. It's the grade that they go after, and they forget to actually go for the learning. They go for the easy A, the easy teacher, and they end up a lot of times cheating. Okay, learning environments either stifle or promote creativity, community, and academic growth. And behavior greatly affects learning and achievement. Even one student can keep others from performing their best. There's also been many studies on climate and attitude. For instance, in Israel, Blankenshevitz did a study on 5th grade students and their perceptions of classroom disruptions. And they found out that disruptions affected student learning even more than classroom engagement and their perceptions of teacher fairness. Another study on climate by Gregory and Home showed that positive expectations have a positive impact on student learning for at-risk students as well as regular ed students. Ayub 2009 showed how students from poverty tend to have poor attitudes because they have so many setbacks from birth. Lack of parental involvement, effects of risky behavior, things like that have really affected student attitudes. There's a lot of studies by Dweck on growth mindset and its effects. As you might know, that a fixed mindset, students come to school and they believe that they are born with a certain amount of intelligence and academic ability. So if they can't do something, they just think, well, I'm not smart. Okay, if they can't do anything in baseball, well, I'm not athletic. They just have a certain amount of ability and intelligence. However, studies have shown that you can actually grow your intelligence and your athletic ability through effort. So a growth mindset believes that you can grow your attitude through effort, once again. Dweck and her colleagues also examine the way that growth mindsets are formed, okay? So they gave students, several hundred students, problems, and they praised half of the students for their job. Wow, you're a genius, you're so smart. And they took half of the students and they were praised for their effort. And sure enough, they put those kids right into a fixed mindset, because the ones that were praised for their genius and their ability didn't want to get more challenging work because then their title would be gone. The ones that were praised for their effort kept wanting to learn. They kept wanting to be challenged with new and different activities. So in the classroom, there's another study. In the classroom, 5th grade students were given the brainology exercises. They were taught that you can actually grow your mindset. They taught that how the synapses are formed. They make connections. Your brain actually grows. And those students put forth more effort in class. Another study in the classroom found that students were less likely to give up. So, as a review of the literature, grades for underachievers can be self-defeating. But when you minimum grade students that are at risk, that seems to be helpful. Growth mindset helps, and teaching growth mindset helps. But there is a gap. There is no correlation between grading on growth mindset and improvement in the classroom behavior and achievement. So that was what my study intends to do, is to see if there can be a link between grading students on their growth mindset and achieving high scores in the classroom. So the triangulation of my research has motivated me to seek research in 3 areas: the effects of grading of behavior on motivation and attitudes of students, classroom climate and culture, and academic growth. As you can see, both classes are nearly the same, Class A and Class B. Class A was given grades for their behavior, and Class B was not. Class B tends to be slightly higher, was about 10% higher. They actually had a few students that were exceeding expectations. So you can see by the end of the study, the attitudes really changed among the 2 classes. In Class A, you can see that they are much more excited to learn than Class B. They're also, Class B is complaining that they are far more distracted than Class A. And Class A shows that They're willing to fail, understanding the fact that they will eventually succeed, and they know that it takes time and practice. Whereas Class B is a little more hopeless. My aide and I also kept track of the students' behavior. We kept track of off-task behavior, disruptive behavior, distractions, noises, argumentative behavior sometimes, but as well as positive things like collaboration, positive comments, volunteering, things like that. You can see though through this chart that the negative behavior was overwhelmingly higher in Class B than it was in Class A. At the end of every day, students were asked to write a reflective journal. They were asked to grade themselves on their behavior that day, and they were supposed to give evidence of their growth mindset strategies and what they did. In Class A, week 1, I got 64 responses. In week 2, 56 responses. Week 3, 68 responses. On the other hand, Class B, week 1, I only got 22 responses. Week 2, 35 responses. And week 3, 24 responses. You can see that it was much more effective when they knew that they were being graded as when they were. Also, their academics also improved. In Class A, when they were given a little quiz on supporting ideas with evidence, Class A was far better than Class B. In text structure, Class A out-achieved Class B, and also in story elements, Class A did better than Class B. However, the only area that Class B did better was in vocabulary. And I believe that was probably because they came to school with slightly higher achievement level than Class A. This was only a 3-week study. So in conclusion, after just 3 weeks, there were definite trends toward improved class climate, improvement in attitudes about the school and about class, and more grit and academic achievement were seen. So what I would recommend based on my research is that teachers should reinforce growth mindset strategies in every classroom in Johnson Middle School. They should validate these strategies with the percentage of the grade. This would help students be successful in all areas of life as well as the workforce later on. And also, students should keep a reflective journal, goal set, see what they need to redo or rethink. And finally, teachers should validate student effort with praise in lieu of praising their accomplishments. My life verse, as far as teaching goes, is Matthew 5:16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And I think about letting your light shine. It only shines in the darkness. And sometimes we go to work with a cruel, dark world. These kids are damaged in so many ways, and we may be the only Jesus they see. And my prayer and my hope is that they do see something different in me, and that I can really let my light shine for them and meet the needs of these kids. As far as this research goes, and as far as this master's program goes, I look to a scripture in Daniel that says, I thank you and praise you, O God, for you have given me strength. You set the course of world events, and you give knowledge to the scholar. And so I thank him for so many times I've been so frustrated and not knowing what to do, but I'm thankful that we have a God that is stronger and smarter and wiser than us, and he's got it all in his hands. Thank you.